Good morning, everybody. Well, this week is it's kind of a weird week. Everybody knows that I have stepsons and stepdaughters, and I've grown up with my brothers and family members. So I'm used to all sorts of situations that occur, But this weekend, something awesome and something horrible happened. Well, the awesome part was that my friend Johnny, he's been emotional and physical, battered and beaten down, and he wants to be around his son and everything. And I guess we all want our kids to be around us, and we want to be around people, but being around teenagers and all that, it's a lot of conflicts and a lot of problems and a lot of situations. Anybody that has teenagers, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. See, I went situations like this with Church, Jigga, and David, and then with Destiny, and then I also went with Marcela and America. Also, I went with situations that you teach them how to drive, you lend them your car, and they crash it. You know what I mean? Well, this weekend, last week, Johnny had started being around his son and everything. He wants to prove to him that he's is his father, and he wants to be there, good and bad. Well, he took him driving test and everything. His son got his driver's license. He's 21, everybody. He's going to college at Cal State, and he sees his son, and he wants to help him. He wants to encourage him, and he wants to motivate him to get his shit together and to be united with his son. He dreams of getting an apartment and having his son live with him, whatever. But his son's already 21. Around the corner, he's already gonna get married or be with a woman. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a whole situation that, like I told Johnny, we love our kids. Los extrañamos. We cry for them, and we feel sometimes abandoned, and we feel discouraged and shit like that. But being around our kids, it's hard. It's hard being a father. It's hard being there because they only need you when they need you, and no matter what, you're the one always putting in, giving it all. And it's hard, and it's emotional, and it gets difficult. Sometimes we feel like just giving up and not being around and let them handle their own shit. But then we have that stable part in our genes, that we're responsible and we want to be there for our kids, and we're willing to put in the time to try to win them over and try to be there and better them. Hopefully they're successful, and they become adults and everything they want. You know what I mean? And hopefully that all this divorce and all this broken up and all that doesn't cost a lot of emotional, a lot of problems to them, that they could move on. I always taught Johnny to get along with his baby mama, and me and him, we have more or less a situation. We do have people that we could talk to and everything, but obviously it's a complicated situation that we're just trying to be providers, and we're trying to be there. Well, when you get used to not being around your kids, you have a lot of free time. Yes, you miss them. Yes, you desire them. Yes, you wish that they could be around you. But then when they come back, then it's a complication, because little Johnny, he got his driver's license and John gave him his car, Honda Accord, the one that was Danny's before. So he went in there. He gave him the lecture. He gave him the clecha. He gave him the lowdown and everything. And obviously, everybody knows that he ended up doing what he didn't have to do. Everything that he told him to do, not to do, he did. So first day, a couple hours later, he's going to Cal State, crashes the car. Well, this goes to all you fathers out there. You guys gotta understand that kids are emotional. Kids are disturbed. They're complicated. And if you go out there screaming, yelling, and pointing fingers and telling them that they're pendejos and they're idiots and they fucked up, and you start putting them down and stepping on them and all that. A lot of kids now, they go through a lot of stuff. Especially me, like when I was growing up, I wanted to hurt myself, and I wanted just to give up, because I was a disappointment, and I was always a fuck up. And I finally grew up, and I understood that speaking with the truth helps you a lot. And the people that want to help you, if you don't speak with the truth, they can't help you, and they can't guide you, and they can't help you. You know what I mean? And I used to have anger management problems. I had a bad temper, and I used to get just out of control. I just start hating stuff and start acting like a spoiled child. You know what I mean? And Johnny's son, more or less, he's in the same situation. And Johnny, Big Johnny, he don't know how to communicate to his son. And I'm trying to teach him how to communicate and everything. The last person that I didn't get involved, that's why I do get involved, that I didn't get involved, it was my primo Ricky with Steven, and everybody knows the story that he ended up suiciding, because a lot of times when we say things, we offend them and we hurt them, and we don't think about it, and we don't mean them. It's just that we're frustrated, we're mad, and we got anger issues, anger management issues, you know what I mean? And we don't know how to be there, I'm talking about in bad times and good times, you know what I mean? Good times, everybody could be there. Bad times is like, are you just gonna run away? Are you gonna criticize? Are you gonna judge? Are you gonna point fingers? Are you gonna humiliate? Are you gonna take advantage? Are you gonna fucking just call them a pendejo, an idiot, or whatever? Or are you gonna be wise and mature enough to help them and to get the problem resolved and fix it, you know what I mean, one way or another? You have to give them confidence. You have to not show them insecureness, or that you don't know how to resolve your own problems, or you're scared, or you're traumatized. You gotta teach them that you get your shit together, and you gotta teach them that no matter what the outcome is, everything's gonna be okay. And he's a teenager, and obviously he never really drove. I told Johnny to teach him how to drive and dedicate time to him, but he didn't know how to. He didn't know how to be there, And I was trying to give him some pointers, and we ended up towing the car back home, and the guy came back. He did a hit and run. So a lot of situations happen, but in one way or another, it got resolved, and hopefully in Johnny's life, or in his imagination, or in his as I was saying, hopefully that little Johnny has a good experience believing, trusting on his dad, And I got to have a long conversation with him, and he broke out, and he it was emotional felt, and tears and emotional got there, So I know he understood and he understands, and I was telling him that even though that we're their parents, we don't know how to be parents, There's no manual, there's no instructions, there's nada, And I told him to have patience and to help his father be there, help him get his life in order, Don't blow it all out of proportion and cause conflict more than what it is, So I end up having a conversation with Johnny, because Johnny, he's like a Mexican, that they're grouchy, bitchy, and they're just fucking straight to the point and rough and tough, And I had to bring him down from his high horse and teach him that he has to have patience to his son, and then at the same time I taught his son to have patience también, and it's a learning experience, it's a learning moment, for all of us, but that we're gonna resolve this situation and life is gonna continue, yes. And I was happy that it's making them have a bond together and have confidence with each other and respect to one another, that they're there and they're not gonna run. That's all we got. That's all you got in life. So you gotta make the best out of it. I told him, because the son, you gotta understand that he grew up technically without a dad, and then technically he lives with his grandma, and he grew up technically like on his own, and he never had a mentor. He never had no one advising him and guiding him and supporting him and giving him confidence and teaching him, and a puro regañazo, a puro insulto, a puro maltratos, So I told him that I'm not like that, And life has taught me to have a little more patience, So I put my point across, and the situation, I put it under control, and we're working on it. It's gonna take time, because we gotta resolve the car, and on top of the car, money, and on top of the money, we gotta teach him how to drive, and we gotta get his confidence back, and he has to grow up first, because I don't know if everybody knows, but when you're a youngster, you smoke weed, you drink, you party, and, you know what I mean? And especially when you're learning how to drive, you think you could do it all. I told him also, wait until the first rainy seasons, wait until the windy, you know what I mean? You gotta drive, and when people hit you out of the blues, they shit comes out of nowhere and fucks up your life, And it's so easy to just to throw your hands up and give up. Sometimes it's not your fault, and they stole your car, they crashed your car, or they scratch your car, or you know what I mean. You get in a situation that you get it towed, to get a DUI, or you know what I mean, or there's a lot of situations, and if you haven't grown up 100%, you get yourself in jams, and fuck up your car. You don't check the oil, you don't check the water, you get flats, and if you don't have a job, you don't have money, it gets complicated, it gets real complicated soon. It's a whole different situation when you get a car, and obviously you got to pay the parking tickets, the plates, insurance. It takes a toll. A lot of people rather just take Lyft or the bus or keep getting rides. But we're men, and we drive, and we're the ones that take the frontal. And I'm proud of all my primas, cousins, and aunts, and Sandra, and everybody that drives. That they know what I'm talking about. And our kids, like I said, you always gotta start with a fixer-upper, because you're gonna crash it, you're gonna park it, you're gonna do a gang of stuff. And Johnny gave him his treasure. He gave him his heart and soul in the car, And I think it was a little too much for him to give to his son. He tried doing it like that, not the Indian giver, but like Danny calls me. He gave him the car, but he still thinks he owns the car. I said, when you give a car to your son, it's not your car no more. And you gotta learn that you already gave it, you already lost it. And you can't be an Indian giver and you can't take it back. You know what I mean? You can't think that it's yours and expect them to have the same love that you have for your car. Even though you did the whole mechanical, you put the brand new tires, brakes, you do everything. Someone with a new car, they're not gonna love it. They're not gonna treat it the way you want. And that's what Johnny, I guess in his mind, he gave him a car, but technically, because it was just one day, he wants to be like an Indian giver, take it back. And it doesn't work like that. And I was trying to teach Johnny to have patience, to understand his son. You don't have nobody. And Johnny, I tell him, look, you got us. And I'm trying to teach Johnny to encourage him to keep on walking, keep on aiming high, be there for his son. It's going to cause some complex problems and sad things that guys get themselves in jams and todo, And he also has a daughter, and he's gonna have to go through it again with her, And he has to dedicate time to teach him how to drive and be there, Can't just give him a car and expect them to learn on their own, because we learned on our own. Society now, they're different. Kids now are spoiled. They're brats. You know what I mean? They're used to handouts and guidance and holding their hands and being there for them. We learned the hard way, but we gotta learn that they're a whole different, and we gotta teach them. At the end, the next day, ya se le bajó el coraje a John, and they started communicating and trying to resolve the situation, and whatever the outcome is, they're gonna work it together, and they're gonna be supporting one another, and hopefully this unites them and teaches both of them that both of them need each other, and both of them need to help each other, and both of them have to have a little more patience, and don't blow it up out of proportion. He's a guy, he's like 6'2", he's tall, he's big, and thinks he's tough, and he is tough, don't get it wrong. And you can't yell at kids no more. They don't understand that. You can't hit them. You can't treat them the way we got taught. So this goes out to everybody, that just because you want to do good by giving your kid a car, it don't mean that you just give them the car. It means that you got to teach them, you got to be there with them, you got to teach them how to change tires, oil changes, keep up with them, help them with the tags, once in a while, you know what I mean? Drive the car, make sure that everything's good, and have an understanding that you're going to teach him and he's going to learn, and even though he has his car, but the responsibility is both of us, And you got to try to help the car, because everybody's first car, they wreck it, they crash it, they fuck it up. Sometimes that happens real fast. And I just pray to everybody, that anybody out there that has an emotional kid, or a kid that has a lot of problems like me, try patience. And if you believe in God, keep the faith going.